All right, so imagine this. You have access to a secret stash of files all about Nikola Tesla.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? We're talking declassified government documents, historical records, modern analysis, all about the enigmatic Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, and we're going way beyond, the typical Tesla myths
Right.
to uncover a side of him that's not really explored that often.
It's like we're stepping into a time machine.
It is.
We're diving into these YouTube videos from the History Channel and a really detailed Wikipedia article about Tesla to try to figure out, what his later years were really like, what
Yeah.
hidden projects he might have been working on, and what role did the U.S. government play in all of this.
And I think the sources that you've got here, they paint a really fascinating picture,
They do.
hinting at everything from, really advanced technologies like the death ray to the mystery of all those missing trunks and a possible government cover-up.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit.
let's do it.
One thing that really stood out to me was the possible connection between Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower and the New Yorker Hotel.
Oh, interesting.
What's the story there?
Yeah, so Wardenclyffe, that was Tesla's, really ambitious attempt to create a system for wireless power transmission.
Wow.
So imagine a world where electricity could just be beamed across, vast distances without needing any wires.
That's wild.
Totally revolutionary concept.
Totally.
Unfortunately, Wardenclyffe was never completed because of financial setbacks.
Oh, so it never actually got up and running.
No, it didn't.
But then Tesla moved into the New Yorker Hotel.
Right.
And there are some, pretty intriguing similarities between the two structures.
There are, yeah.
Is it possible that he continued working on wireless power transmission, but in secret?
Well, the architectural parallels between Wardenclyffe and the New Yorker Hotel are pretty striking.
Really?
Yeah, and the History Channel investigation that we saw uncovered some original blueprints that were hidden in a room on the 41st floor of the hotel.
What?
And they reveal some really interesting details that align with Tesla's concepts.
So there's a direct link.
There is.
And also, the hotel had 3 times the power it needed for normal operation.
Right.
What was all that extra power for?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Ah,
That's what researchers have been trying to figure out for years.
it's a lot of juice.
It is.
Could the New Yorker Hotel have been like Tesla's secret lab
It's possible.
for continuing his Wardenclyffe experiments
Yeah?
and using...
A lot of energy lost along the way.
So it's not as simple as just beaming it.
No, it's not as simple as that.
Right.
Still, the evidence presented in these sources.
Yeah.
It does raise some really fascinating questions about what Tesla might have been attempting.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
So the New Yorker Hotel might have been like a secret hub for wireless power experimentation?
It could have been.
That's incredible. But what about the mystery of Tesla's missing trunks?
Ah, yes.
What happened to all of his research after he died?
Well, Tesla's death in 1943, during the height of World War II,
Right.
it kind of added another layer of intrigue to his story.
It did.
The FBI, they seized all of his belongings,
Everything.
including 122 trunks that were said to be filled with notes, inventions, and who knows what else.
You'd think the government would be eager to analyze, the work of such a brilliant inventor,
You would think so.
especially during wartime.
Yeah.
What were they looking for?
Well, here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
John G. Trump, an MIT engineer, he was tasked with examining Tesla's files. And his conclusion was they had no scientific or military value.
Wait, seriously?
I know.
How could the work of Nikola Tesla, the man who practically invented the 20th century, be deemed worthless?
Right.
Was there any specific explanation given for this assessment?
No, not really.
Like, what kind of technologies were even considered valuable to the military back then?
I mean, it's certainly puzzling.
Is...
Considering Tesla's groundbreaking work in areas like alternating current radio transmission, high-frequency electrical systems,
Right.
all of which had, clear military applications.
Absolutely.
So this has led some researchers to speculate that maybe the government deliberately downplayed the significance of Tesla's work.
A cover-up.
Potentially.
Why would they do that?
Well, during wartime, the government was intensely interested in any technology that could provide a strategic advantage.
Makes sense.
So imagine if Tesla had developed a death ray
Oh, wow.
or a weapon that was capable of disrupting enemy communications.
That's a game changer.
Exactly.
And some of the sources actually suggest that Tesla was working on such things.
Yeah.
I mean, the death ray is mentioned in several accounts,
Right.
described as a particle beam weapon capable of, disabling aircraft.
Yeah.
That would have been a game changer.
It would have been a game changer.
So it makes you wonder if the government, fearing the potential implications of such an advanced technology, maybe they decided to just keep Tesla's research under wraps.
Yes.
Like a secret weapon.
Yeah, right.
And the missing trunks add fuel to this theory.
They do.
What if they contained, the plans for weapons far more advanced than anything that was available at the time?
That's a scary thought.
It is scary.
It is.
Okay, this is getting pretty interesting. Secret labs, missing files, possible government cover-ups.
Yeah.
It's like something out of a spy novel.
It is.
But there's another piece of this puzzle that I'm really curious about.
Okay.
Tesla had this well-documented fascination with pigeons.
He did, yeah.
Do we think there's more to that than just an eccentric hobby?
Well, Tesla's love for pigeons, especially one white female pigeon he seemed particularly attached to, is well documented.
All right.
However, it's interesting to consider this, in light of the historical context. Before we had modern radio technology, pigeons were commonly used for military communication.
Really?
Yeah, they were reliable, they were fast, they could travel considerable distances.
So like little flying messengers.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And they wouldn't attract much attention. They could fly under the radar, literally.
So are we saying that Tesla might have been using pigeons to secretly communicate with someone?
Potentially.
Maybe even while under government surveillance?
It's possible.
But wouldn't using pigeons be risky? Couldn't someone intercept those messages?
Well, the History Channel, they actually consulted a pigeon expert.
Oh, wow.
Who pointed out that Tesla could have used coded messages.
Smart.
Or he could have relied on the pigeon's homing instinct to deliver messages to specific locations, making interception really difficult.
Wow. And they actually successfully sent a message via pigeon.
They did.
From the New Yorker hotel to Brooklyn.
All the way to Brooklyn.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
So if Tesla was using pigeons for secret communication, who was he talking to?
Right.
And what was he saying?
Yeah.
This is getting more intriguing by the minute.
It certainly adds another layer to the mystery.
Yeah.
It raises questions about whether Tesla was working, independently on these projects or whether he was collaborating with others.
Right.
Potentially on things that he couldn't discuss openly.
Yeah, like top secret stuff?
Yeah.
Wow, this whole deep dive is making me see Tesla in a new light.
Oh, yeah.
Not just as a brilliant inventor, but as like a cunning strategist.
Yeah.
Potentially operating in the shadows.
Potentially.
But let's shift gears for a moment.
Sure.
And talk about Tesla's vision for the future.
Okay.
I mean, he made some pretty bold predictions about where technology was headed.
He did. He was a true visionary.
Yeah.
He had ideas about harnessing natural energy sources, creating anti-war technology.
Oh, wow.
And even the possibility of communicating with other planets.
That's wild.
I know. And some of those ideas, like wireless power transmission and global communication networks, seemed outlandish at the time.
Right.
But now they're just part of our everyday lives.
It's like he could see the future.
He really could.
But he also warned about the potential for technology to be misused.
He did.
Like his death ray.
Yeah.
Was that a real invention or was that more of a theoretical concept?
Well, the death ray is one of Tesla's most controversial ideas.
Really?
Yeah, and the descriptions of it vary, but it's often depicted as, like a particle beam weapon capable of destroying targets at a distance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Some accounts claim that he successfully tested on small objects.
Really?
While others dismiss it as just a misunderstanding or an exaggeration.
Right.
Tesla himself believed that it could act as a deterrent.
Okay.
Making warfare too devastating and thereby promoting peace.
So create a super weapon to prevent war.
Exactly.
That's a paradox.
It is a bit of a paradox.
But it does raise some important questions.
It does.
Was it actually technically feasible?
Yeah.
And even if it was, could such a powerful weapon truly be controlled?
Right.
What would the ethical implications be?
Well, those are questions that, continue to be debated today.
Absolutely.
Not just about the death ray, but about any technology that has, the potential for mass destruction. Tesla's ideas, though, sometimes bordering on science fiction.
Yeah.
They often foreshadowed real-world technological advancements.
Totally.
And the ethical dilemmas that they pose.
Absolutely. It's incredible how relevant his concerns are even now, a century later.
I know.
What about his predictions for things like renewable energy?
Oh, yeah.
He was talking about that long before climate change became a global concern.
He was a strong advocate for harnessing natural energy sources.
Really?
Yeah, he saw the limitations of fossil fuels, and he believed that humanity needed to transition to sustainable energy sources.
Right.
He was particularly interested in the power of the sun.
Oh.
And he developed ideas for solar energy systems that were quite advanced for his time.
It seems like he was ahead of the curve on so many things.
He really was.
I mean, it makes you wonder, what would Tesla think of the world today?
I know.
Would he be amazed by our technological progress?
I think he'd be both amazed and dismayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, amazed by the advancements in communication and transportation.
Right.
But perhaps dismayed by our continued reliance on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And the environmental damage that we've inflicted on the planet.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about.
It is.
Given his strong beliefs about the importance of sustainable energy,
Yeah.
he might be pretty critical of our slow progress in that area.
I think he would be too.
Yeah.
He might also have some interesting thoughts about the ways we use technology today.
Interesting. Like what?
Particularly our dependence on social media and smartphones.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Tesla saw technology as a tool for liberation.
Right.
Not for distraction or isolation.
That's a really insightful point.
Yeah.
He might even question whether we're truly in control of technology or if it's starting to control us.
I think that's a valid question.
I do too.
Yeah.
He was a complex and fascinating individual.
He was.
His ideas were often ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
And he wasn't afraid to challenge conventional thinking.
He wasn't.
He was also a bit of an enigma, with his eccentricities and his unconventional lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of eccentricities,
Yeah.
those stories about his aversion to germs,
Right.
his obsession with the number 3,
Yeah.
his peculiar relationship with pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
Were those just quirks, or do we think they hint at something deeper about his personality?
Well, it's easy to focus on those aspects.
Right.
But I think there were likely manifestations of his unique way of thinking and interacting with the world. So his intense focus on details, patterns, and order.
Right.
Which likely contributed to, his scientific breakthroughs.
Right.
Might also have expressed themselves in those seemingly odd behaviors.
So those quirks might have been part of what made him such a brilliant innovator?
It's possible.
Maybe we all need a little bit of eccentricity to unlock our full creative potential.
Maybe.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
I have.
We've talked about Tesla's hidden projects, his vision for the future, even his relationship with pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
But we still haven't definitively answered the question of whether he was working with the government or not.
Well, the evidence is inconclusive.
Yeah.
We know the government was interested in his work,
Right.
particularly during wartime.
Yeah.
But the extent of their involvement and Tesla's willingness to participate remains shrouded in mystery.
It feels like there are still so many unanswered questions.
There are.
What do you think? Are there any clues out there that could help us solve this puzzle?
Well, the most tantalizing clue might be those missing trunks.
Oh, yeah.
If they ever resurface, they could hold the key to understanding Tesla's later years.
Right.
And his relationship with the government.
Imagine the secrets those trunks might contain.
I know.
Detailed plans for the death ray.
Yeah.
Evidence of secret collaborations.
Right.
Maybe even Tesla's personal thoughts and reflections on his life and work.
It would be amazing.
It would be an incredible historical discovery.
It would be groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But even without those trunks, we can still learn a lot from the sources that you shared.
Right.
We can piece together a more nuanced picture of Tesla.
Yeah.
Not just as an inventor, but as a complex and fascinating individual.
Right.
Who lived in a time of, rapid technological advancement and geopolitical upheaval.
It's like we're piecing together a jigsaw puzzle, but with some of the pieces missing.
Yeah.
We may never have the complete picture, but that's part of what makes exploring Tesla's life so intriguing.
Absolutely. And it challenges us to think critically about the information that we have.
Right.
To question assumptions and to consider different perspectives.
That's important.
It is.
It also reminds us that history is rarely black and white.
Yeah.
There are often shades of gray,
Yeah.
hidden motivations and events that defy easy explanation.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the most compelling stories are the ones that leave us with more questions than answers.
I think that's very true.
All right, so before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's try to summarize what we've learned.
Oh.
We've explored Tesla's later years,
Mm-hmm.
those intriguing connections between Wardenclyffe and the New Yorker Hotel,
Right.
the mystery of the missing trunks, his fascination with pigeons,
Yeah.
his incredible vision for the future,
Yes.
and the lingering question of his relationship with the government.
Right.
Mm.
We've delved into the possibility of Tesla secretly continuing his work on wireless power transmission.
Yeah.
Perhaps even using the New Yorker Hotel as a base of operations. We've considered whether he might have used pigeons for covert communication, potentially sharing information about projects that he couldn't discuss openly.
Right.
And we've explored his remarkable predictions about renewable energy, global communication networks,
Yeah.
and the potential dangers of advanced technologies.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
We've learned a lot, but I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
That's the beauty of exploring a figure like Tesla.
I agree.
There's always more to discover,
Yeah.
more to ponder,
Totally.
more to question.
Absolutely.
There's always more to discover, more to ponder, more to question.
So after all of this, what are the key takeaways for our listener? What makes Tesla's story relevant today, over a century after his death?
I think Tesla's life and work offer a powerful reminder of the potential of human ingenuity.
Right.
He dared to dream big,
He did.
to push the boundaries of what was considered possible.
Yeah.
Even if some of his ideas seemed outlandish at the time, they often foreshadowed real-world technological advancements.
He was a true visionary, but he also serves as a cautionary tale.
In what way?
Well, his death ray concept,
Yeah.
whether real or imagined, it raises some important questions about the ethical implications of advanced technology.
Absolutely.
It reminds us that, every invention, every scientific breakthrough, it all has the potential to be used for good or for ill.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It highlights the responsibility we all have, not just scientists and inventors,
Right.
but everyone, to think critically about the technologies that we create
Yeah.
and the potential consequences of their use.
Tesla also understood the importance of sustainable living.
He did.
His work on harnessing natural energy sources like solar power feels incredibly relevant in our current age of climate change.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that we need to find ways to power our civilization without destroying the planet in the process.
Yeah, his emphasis on renewable energy, I think, serves as a call to action.
It does.
It reminds us that, we have the knowledge, we have the technology to create a more sustainable future. But we need the collective will to actually make it happen.
We have to make those changes.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been a fascinating exploration of a complex and enigmatic figure.
It really has been.
We've uncovered hidden truths, challenged conventional wisdom, and hopefully sparked some curiosity in our listener.
If this deep dive has inspired you to learn more about Nikola Tesla,
I hope so.
we encourage you to check out the source materials links to which we've provided in the show notes.
Yes.
You might even uncover a clue
Oh.
that helps unravel the mystery of those missing trunks.
Ooh, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. Until next time, keep those minds curious and remember the future. Tesla's vision is full of possibilities. It's up to us to shape it wisely. It's incredible to think that, even after all these years, we're still uncovering new layers to Tesla's story.
I know. It's like his life was a puzzle with pieces scattered throughout history.
Yeah, and each new discovery brings us a little closer to understanding the true genius of this man.
And the complexities.
Right, because he wasn't just, a brilliant scientist and inventor.
Right.
He was also a showman.
Yeah, bit of an eccentric.
Totally. And those aspects of his personality, they contributed to the mystique that still surrounds him today.
Absolutely.
It's like he was a real-life superhero, battling the forces of darkness with his inventions and ideas.
With lightning bolts shooting from his fingertips.
Exactly.
It's funny because some people, they view Tesla as this tragic figure.
Right.
A genius who was misunderstood and ultimately exploited by the powers that be.
Yeah, I can see that.
But others, they see him as a symbol of hope.
Oh.
Someone who dared to imagine a better future.
I like that.
And who dedicated his life to making that vision a reality.
And it's interesting how those different interpretations, they kind of reflect our own hopes and fears about the role of technology in society.
They do.
Are we using it to create a better world? Or are we heading down a path of self-destruction?
Exactly.
I think Tesla would urge us to choose wisely.
I think he would too.
To use our ingenuity to solve the world's biggest challenges, like climate change and poverty, and to ensure that technology serves humanity.
And not the other way around.
That's the key.
It is.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Nikola Tesla, let's leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
What kind of future do we want to create?
That's a good question.
One that embraces Tesla's vision of progress and sustainability,
Right.
or one that succumbs to the same forces that ultimately led to his downfall?
A very important question to consider.
It is, and that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Until next time, keep those minds curious, and remember, the future is ours to create. Let's make it one worthy of Tesla's legacy.